In today's session, we will delve into unleashing the power of accuracy with the Trimble DA2 GNSS Receiver. The Trimble DA2 GNSS Receiver is powered by Trimble ProPoint GNSS technology for improved accuracy and productivity in challenging GNSS conditions. So for example, near trees, buildings, and etc. So joining us today to discuss the Trimble DA2, we have both Matthew Webster, Vice President of Geospatial Technologies at Spatial Vision, Innovision, and we also have Everard Johnson, Geomatics Product Specialist here at Spatial Innovision. Just a point to note, one lucky attendee will win access for 2 persons to the Trimble Day in the Caribbean event happening in Jamaica on November 16th, 2023. And that winner will be announced towards the end of the webinar. So now over to you, Matthew.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Unleashing the Power of Accuracy within the Trimble DA2 GNSS Receiver. A few of the topics that we will talk about today, we'll just have a quick overview of the DA2. We'll talk about what's new with the DA2 as compared to the previous DA. We look at what's in the box when you secure your DA2, the components and accessories that are included. We'll talk about Trimble Access, which a few of you may be familiar with. And in closing, we'll just give everyone here a brief overview about the Trimble Day in the Caribbean event, which will be happening on the 16th of November in Kingston, Jamaica, which you'll see more details following this webinar, more communication about that. And as Philip had mentioned, one person will win access for 2 to this event. So definitely stay tuned. So we're going to look now at the DA2 technology. So the first question that we have is, why the Catalyst and the DA2? So formally, well, let's start with the fact, it has never been so easy to get professional grade GNSS positions. So formally, you'd have been known to carry your base and your rover into the field for your corrections. But now, just imagining carrying your lightweight receiver, your rover into the field and achieving similar, if not better accuracies compared to walking with your base and your rover into the field. So what would have normally been like a 2-man job, is simply enough for one surveyor to go into the field and achieve the accuracy. So you'd normally have one person monitoring the base while another person is in the field collecting the information. Now, one person can just go in the field with his rover and serve both purposes, so to speak. So now those 2 team members can be in the field collecting data to have the job done in, half the time, so to speak. So talking about Trimble Catalyst. So we look at it as it's inexpensive. So you'll hear more about that. So there's minimal upfront hardware cost, which was a deterrent for probably previous versions. The corrections bundle is bundled with the subscription, which we'll talk more about. So less of your money is now tied up in capital assets, as you can now define, you basically pay per configuration. So depend per correction. So if you want 60 centimeter correction, if you want 30 centimeter correction, you can kind of scale how you want your correction. It's simple. There's minimal configuration access to Trimble corrections. It's flexible. So ready to use on demand in the field. It's also this new version is very scalable for individuals for small teams and large crews. And you can modify your solution as your needs change. So as I'd mentioned, if you want to change your accuracy that you're collecting, you can do that. And again, it's very powerful, high quality performance, and you get that full survey grade precision that you align with the Trimble brand. So we talk about the Catalyst technology. So the Trimble Catalyst is a revolutionary GNSS concept, simplifying the way that precise GNSS positioning is delivered. So the Catalyst receivers process the GNSS signals in now a software environment instead of that hardware wired integrated circuit you may have been familiar with. So in the previous version of the Catalyst, it was done on a dedicated phone app. But now the DA2 integrates what they call a soft GNSS receiver inside the antenna. So you no longer require a separate phone app as a big deal. With efficient dynamic channels, not hardwired channels, all of this is controlled in the software. And to update to the latest receiver functionality, it's just simply a matter of downloading and update. So definitely some improvement in the technology there to make your life in the field much simpler. We talk about the Trimble Correction Hub. Three main points. We talk about its high accuracy, which we'll learn a bit more in following slides. But you're talking about 1 to 2 centimeter accuracy with a fast convergence time. And we'll talk about the technology that does that in a bit. You're talking about simplicity and reliability. So that robust service and automatic configuration now allows you to focus more on the task at hand than trying to get the fix and then do the work. Now you have more time to collect the data as you would. And this is globally available, so available anywhere in the world. So we talk about Trimble corrections. So the real-time GNSS corrections are provided by the Trimble Corrections Hub. And these are needed to improve the raw GNSS satellite data from autonomous mode of accuracy, we're talking about meters, to now centimeter level accuracy. So as you can see, that's you in the field with your receiver and your handheld collecting your data. You see that cell tower there on the Trimble Corrections Hub, doing what it's supposed to do in terms of those corrections, and those real-time corrections are applied to the GNSS data, making the positions more accurate and reliable. And we'll talk more about GNSS satellites because I know a lot of people want to know what constellations are available to them. Talking about the Trimble Corrections Hub coverage. So in Jamaica, we would be on the yellow part of the map, but Catalyst subscribers can use Trimble RTX with their DA2 and using the Trimble Corrections Hub. And using the DA2, which is now, the availability, the greater precision that comes now with it, and the speed of convergence with the RTX corrected solutions from Trimble Correction is vastly improved compared to the DA1. And this is due to improvements in the antenna design and what we call the Trimble ProPoint technology. So you're talking about within 3 minutes on average, you can get less than 2 centimeters globally. All right. You're talking worldwide accuracy. So again, we're talking, less than 2 centimeters if required. The Trimble Correction Hub provides Catalyst subscribers with the availability, precision, and the speed of convergence. And we're talking about getting the job done more efficiently and more quickly than in previous times. So you're in and out of the field much faster. The Trimble Correction Hub's performance with the DA2, as mentioned, has been improved compared to the DA1 due to the improvements in that antenna design and the adoption of the Trimble ProPoint technology. All right, so now we're going to look at the Trimble DA2 GNSS Receiver. They call it the Trimble High-End Positioning Service. So as we like to start, it is simply precise because we know that precision matters to you when you're in the field collecting your data. So we're going to just show you some information about the GNSS performance and the signal tracking, as well as the mechanical design, so you can see it for yourself. So in terms of GNSS performance, when we're talking about network RTK, horizontal and vertical accuracy, you're talking about a horizontal accuracy of 10 millimeters and a vertical accuracy of 20 millimeters. And in terms of an RTK startup time, you're talking about less than a minute, which is wonderful. If you're using a single baseline RTK up to 30 kilometers, it has the same horizontal and vertical accuracy of the same 10 millimeters horizontally and 20 millimeters vertically. And again, the RTK startup time, less than a minute. And for Trimble RTX, you're talking about a horizontal accuracy of 2 centimeters and a vertical accuracy of 5 centimeters. And the RTX convergence time, again, less than a minute. So, this is great improvements to what we've been accustomed to in the past. Now, talk about GNSS signal tracking. So the first thing I want to highlight is the new positioning engine. It's powered by Trimble's ProPoint GNSS positioning technology for improved accuracy and productivity in challenging GNSS conditions. So whether it's near trees, buildings, canopies, sometimes, when you're in the field and you have these obstructions, it makes the job a little bit harder. So now with the improved positioning engine, you can do much more in these challenging GNSS conditions. And when you talk about access to satellite signals that are tracked, and these are tracked simultaneously, you have access to GPS, GLONASS, SBAS, Galileo, BIDO. So you have access to all these bands with your DA2 in the field. Yeah, which is a vast improvement. If you're using the VRS systems, you have access to probably fewer constellations. So with this DA2 and the Catalyst combined, you have access to know all of these constellations as per previously. We're talking mechanical design. So as I said, what would have been a 2-person job in the field where you have one man monitoring the base and you have one out there with the rover, now you have this very sleek, very simple design. In terms of dimensions, it is 128 millimeters in diameter and a height of 55 millimeters. And the height of it with the DA2 only 12 ounces, very, very light. And with the carbon fiber rod and the power bank, you're talking about 2 pounds, 13 ounces. So very light for you to go into the field, collect your accurate, precise information. And again, you're not monitoring that base anymore. You're going into the field with just your rover and you're getting that accuracy that you're looking for. You're talking about water and dust proof, IP65. So very good statistics there as well. And the last thing that I cover here is in terms of the drop. So if you're talking from a tipping pole onto concrete, it survives a 2-meter tipping fall. And if you're talking about a free fall onto concrete, it survives 1.2 meters free falls. So quite sturdy, again, as compared to previous versions. So let's start now a little bit about Trimble ProPoint technology. So as you can see in the images, the gentlemen are under the tree, the device is under the tree. What in times gone by, you would not want to be under a tree with your device. But with ProPoint, you have improved receiver performance in what we consider challenging GNSS environments. So you're operating under a tree canopy, near buildings or other urban structures. You have that with you. So the ProPoint is key to RTX initialization times. So the advanced tracking and GNSS signal management now delivers increased yield, and with advanced signal filtering and error modeling now provide better protection against jamming and multipath errors, which in the past you may have encountered. So the technology is really here to make your life much easier. And again, now in challenging conditions, you won't have to be so concerned anymore. The DA2 with Catalyst does that for you. So in my next slide, I will just show you an example of, what we want to show you is pretty much the performance of the receiver in an area that is difficult for satellite observation. In this case, we see that the antenna is installed under a poplar tree and worse, in a channel. So we measure the point with the total station, and we can see that we're comparing the differences during setting out the point. We can see that with Trimble ProPoint, the differences were negligible. I do apologize that the descriptions are in Spanish, but just for everyone to be clear, the first calculation you talk, oops, sorry, I skipped a slide, my bad. Let me go back. Sorry. All right. The first calculation, we're talking about this one. Sorry. This one is what? Northings.
Yeah, northings.
So northings, eastings, elevation, distance, and elevated distance. So you have all of that there, and it compares quite the same. Another example here shows the Trimble ProPoint technology in those same conditions. And you're getting good readings with the technology, as I say, under that same tree in those challenging conditions. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to talk about the DA2 performance in testing, and we're talking about the accuracy of the RTK. So the DA2, after hard reset, RTK 27 kilometers, convergence time after that hard reset was 2 centimeters. What we call a cold start was 2 centimeters in 37 seconds. So quite quick. In further testing, when we're looking at the RTX accuracy, we're talking about very fast convergence, 2 centimeters in 48 seconds. And that was in the 68% percentile. So in the next slide now, we're going to show you how the DA2's performance compares to the DA1. So you can see in terms of the improvement, you had great improvement in much less time. You can see in less than 30 seconds for the DA2. As compared to the previous DA1, it took roughly 120 seconds without achieving that 100% accuracy. So the DA2 in terms of performance for time to first fix, much quicker and much improved in terms of the performance. And when you're talking about the positioning yield, the DA2 gives you a 98% positioning yield as compared to the DA1's 80%. Yeah. Cool. All right. So when I order my DA2, what is in the box? What do you get when you order your DA2? So in pretty standard, with your DA2, you'd get the DA2 GNSS receiver with a USB-A power cable. You'll get an accessory pack, DA2 accessory pack, pole cap and battery pack mount, as well as documentation that speaks to warranty and, quick start. Now, note that your DA2 setup can be configured with optional accessories to match your needs. So if it is that you need additional accessories, and we'll show what some typical accessories look like, you can always add that to your package, but this is pretty much a standard component of the system. All right. So, oops. I'll just show you what it sounds like when you knock it. So you have that mounting kit, you have your pole, you have a DA2, and that's what that pretty much looks like. Lightweight, ready for transport in the field. Yeah. All right. And as you see with the leveler on it, you're good to go in the field. Now, let's talk about DA2 runtime estimates. So the estimated runtime, and on the right-hand side, you can see in terms of depending on the power source rated capacity, how long it can run. But if you're talking about like a 15 watts, you're talking about 4.5 hours. And Trimble has Anchor Power Mini Plus that you can get as a power bank, or if you want what they call the Anchor Power Core 5000, which we generally recommend. And as you can see, that was available since 2021, so it's ready to go now, with a rated capacity of 5,000 milliamperes or 18.5 watts. The estimated DA2 runtime for that is 6 hours. And 6 hours in the field is good time, especially now that you're doing much more efficient work. 6 hours should be adequate time to collect a lot of information. All right. So on screen now, we are looking at some typical accessories that, if it is that you're going a DA2 route, some typical accessories that you can, pretty much have in your inventory. So you can have your travel pouch. You can, as I mentioned, the power bank, which is necessary so that you stay connected in the field. You have that pole mount master package, a Trimble Catalyst mounting accessory kit, USB cables, your backpack, you just travel in the field with it. You have a one foot pole segment, a carbon fiber range pole, 2 meters. You also have a carbon fiber pole of 1.3 meters and the Catalyst GNSS antenna handle. So, depending on what suits your configuration, these are optional accessories that you can take with your package. All right. Hope everyone is still with me so far. Oh, all right. So let's talk now a little bit about Trimble Access. Yeah. So with Trimble Access, in terms of subscriptions, and you have, different subscriptions, that you can always find about, and we can always share more information about this later. We're talking about centimeter level accuracy. So you can talk about from 1 centimeter up to 60, or we can do it in reverse, from 60 centimeters down to 1 centimeter. That's really up to you, what you want to do, depending on what you're measuring. You're talking about user-defined corrections. And as we mentioned, included in your package is the Trimble Corrections Hub, both access to VRS and RTX. So there is some, if you want to say contingencies, so if the VRS is down, you have the access to the RTX as well. And it's available with the Trimble Access subscription, GNSS only or the full package. And there are flexible subscriptions per year, which you can always talk about when you're having those conversations. So what you need, you want Trimble Access license, again, a subscriptions license, your DA2, which is the hardware. So again, minimal upfront hardware costs. So most of your money is not tied up in the hardware. And if it's damaged, you can always get another one. And the RTX connection, RTK corrections or RTX, those are built in the DA2 via internet or satellite. And you want to sign in with your Trimble ID to Trimble Access on your device. So your Trimble, if you want to call it, your Trimble ecosystem is tied in with your Trimble ID and not the device. So if the device happens to, fall and be damaged, your information is stored in your Trimble ID. So you can always get a new device, hardware device, and still have your information and go back into the field whenever you are ready. It's all stored within your Trimble ID in the cloud where we are now. With Trimble Access, you get what they call access to the world of Trimble Access. So it's the most comprehensive software out now that's offered with the DA2. And with the DA2 and Trimble Access, you get to measure points. You're talking about point stakeout, line stakeout, roads, COGO, DTM, site collaboration. You get all of these functionalities. And you're talking about field to finish. Very exciting. We talk about integrated survey. So for users who have robotic total stations, such as the S5, S7, S9, you may have the SX10 or 12, the antenna can be used together with the prism to perform integrated surveys with Trimble Access. And it allows the use of GPS and at the same time. It's super useful during total station setups, so trisections, and when there is no line of sight between the ET and the prism. So you can jump between GPS or ET mode with a click of a data collector screen and measure. Yeah, so you have to see it, you won't feel it, but it doesn't have any additional weight to the rod, and it adds so much in the way of productivity as we shared here. In terms of third-party total station support, it's compatible with third-party total stations, so it keeps the job and the project in one location, something that many users have always asked for. All of it's now available in one location. Yeah. Just showing you some additional images as to when you get into the total station work. So what does signing in with Trimble Access look like? How do you get all the functionality? So for those of you who may never have used the Trimble ID before, this is what it would look like. You have your email address all connected within the cloud. Once you have your Trimble Access, you pretty much get access to that world of Trimble. Again, I do apologize that it's in Spanish, but it will be in English, I guess, when you get your Trimble Access, so to speak. But you get access to all these configurations once you sign in with Trimble Access. Yeah. Now, let's talk about Trimble Access with the Trimble Configurations Hub. So you're talking about automatically sorting out your corrections for you. So if you're in VRS coverage, which, in Jamaica, we have access to VRS coverage, we will use that. Otherwise, we'll just default to the RTX. However, just to note, you still have the flexibility of unticking the Trimble Corrections Hub box and defining your own corrections if you choose to. So if you want to use your own internet base and not the Trimble Corrections Hub, Trimble Corrections Hub, you can do that. So you still have that flexibility, because with this new technology, it's all about being flexible and having the user kind of define how they want to operate what they're doing. So with the user TCH, you don't have to worry about GNSS contact. Just use the Trimble Corrections Hub, and as we like to say, voila. All right. And just like a traditional receiver, you can still configure your own internet correction source under the rover data link. So again, functionality all flexible for you. All right. So you have that available to you. And under the rover data link, you just create or select a GNSS contact under that link. So user-defined corrections, all up to you how you want to use your device. Yeah. And once you get here, you would just type in the IP address and port of your connection service. So again, user-defined corrections, all dependent on you. But again, we have the ability to also automatically do it for you if you choose to. So you have that flexibility, right? Now, here are a few compatible collectors that the Trimble Access subscription will work with. Some of you may be familiar with the TSC5. There's also the TSC7, the T7, TDC 600, and Windows 10 software, and Windows 10 up software. So those are some compatible collectors that's available to you. All right. Now, what would we say are recommended hardware configurations? So you can have your TSC5. You're talking Trimble Catalyst with the TSC5, the Catalyst DA2 GNSS Receiver, the DA2 accessory kit, the DA2 TSC5 rugged cable, and the DA2 TSC5 cable. In terms of additional accessories, you have the TSC5 pole clamp, quick release pole mount with arms. You're talking about your power bank, because again, you want to stay connected in the field. You want to have that data. And as you can see in the image, the power bank is connected to the device. You don't have it separately. It's connected to the device. The TSC5 stylus, hand straps, plug adapters, and the radio module. And you want to put your TSC5 and your DA2 in a case. Again, up to you, the user. You define how you want to use your device. All right? Up to you, all up to you. Now, in terms of warranty and servicing, as pretty much standard, you get 12-month standard warranty on your DA2. And the good news, again, if it fall and damage, there is full replacement of the equipment under warranty. So if you mash up your device, you get back another one. All right. There's a 90-day warranty on the accessories. No Trimble protected plan with this one. And the DA2 is non-serviceable. So again, if there's any damage or interruption in the field, you're just free to let us know, and we will work on getting you that full replacement on the warranty. In the event of loss or field failure, replacement accessories for the DA2 include the USB power cable, the push fit mount, thread adapters, power pack mount, and any optional accessories. All right, so quite a bit for you. And within your warranty period, you know, these are the things that are that will come to you. Now, I'm approaching the Q&A section, but I just want to review some things just in case there are like any questions about these. So I just put these out there. So there are no monthly or on-demand options for Trimble Access. We're thinking yearly. There is no external radio that can be incorporated with the system in order to use it with radio-based corrections. So just make a note of that. RTX center point is incorporated within the system, as I had mentioned much earlier, and there are no lesser options available. So you're thinking about Trimble Access and Precision. There's no data login. Trimble Access subscriptions that support the DA2 are compatible with all Trimble GPS receivers supported with perpetual licensing. And your Trimble ID allows you to use a subscription on any compatible device. So your Trimble Access ID, or your Trimble ID, I should say, is like your gateway into the world of Trimble. So you're not tied to the collector, which you may have previously been, but your Trimble ID is that ID for you. So again, if your device drop on mashup, the data that you're collecting is stored within your Trimble ID, cloud-based. So we're talking about securing your data and having that data move anywhere you move to, or move to any device that you move to. You know, very, very savvy by the Trimble team. Now, at this juncture, we're going to do the question and answers. And after that, We'll talk a little bit about the Trimble Day in the Caribbean activity, and we'll talk about who the winner of the event is once I get that from my moderator. So here's where I move today. Question and answers, and I'll have Mr. Everard Johnson assist me here, but the team can let me know if there are any questions that we're feeling now.
So I'm seeing a couple raised hands here. Just inviting all persons interested in asking questions to just make use of the question and answer feature as well as the chat features. Thanks.
All right, so we see a question here from Brian Bino. Where do you get price information? Everybody want to see that?
Okay, thanks, Matthew. Okay, price information, you can send your request for quotation to products at Spatial Innovision.
At spatialvision.com.
At spatialvision.com. Products at spatialvision.com.
So we have a slide with that information there, Brian. I'll put it up shortly, and I'll ask Philip to just put the email address in the chat as well. Products at spatialvision.com. All right, so a question from Leslie Hodge. Can Trimble Access be used to compute surveys?
Okay, thanks for that question, Leslie. Okay, yes, Trimble Access can be used to compute survey, but it depending on what computation are you referring to.
All right, so we'll await.
If it's to actually carry out a survey, yes, and get distance, measurements, angles, yes, it does. Okay, I'm seeing another question. Where has the issue of poor satellite cover for our region be addressed? I have consideration difficulty using the DA1. Well, I know that in some part of the region, we get good coverage. So I think they're currently addressing that, that satellite coverage issue. And it will be better. It's better with the DA2, as I'm seeing where you're using the DA1. And the next question from Tamai. What level of accuracy should I look for when connected to the DA2 using the TDC 600 without a pole? Okay, well, it depends on the subscription accuracy that you purchase. But if you purchase the surveying accuracy with Trimble Access, you will get 1 centimeter accuracy.
But to add to that, Everard, so in terms of what you mentioned in terms of subscriptions and accuracy, Trimble has now offered where you can buy different levels of accuracy depending on the job that you're going to do. So from 60 meters to 30 meters, come right down to 1 centimeter. So you can, I guess, decide what accuracy would work for the job that you're doing, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Tariq says, what level of interoperability exists with Esri, and how can I bring this data back to ArcGIS online? You want to tell him about the GIS collector?
Okay, so yeah, with Esri, you can also use Esri softwares such as field maps with the GIS DA2 Catalyst.
So to answer your question, Tarek, so we have two versions of the DA2 packages. We have one that is strictly for survey and one that's for GIS data collection. So in your case, the GIS data collection DA2 package would work for you, and that data can be fed into the Esri ecosystem and work with field maps and those other maps that you use in the field, right? All right. Question for Leslie from Leslie Hodge. So to carry a full survey that produces notes and thereafter produce a survey plan for submission.
Yes, so to answer that question, yes, with the Trimble Access, you can produce notes and also carry out a full survey to actually submit your plans to your national land agency. Okay, I'm seeing another question. Has the issue with data transformation, example, WGS to NAP, has been resolved? When attempting to do the transformation using Catalyst, the changes never occur. Okay, I'm not sure regarding that query, but what I will do, I will take note of your question and I will field that question to our representative at Trimble. So what you can do, if you can actually put your email in this chat, I can respond to you via your email.
All right, and I do note that you're an anonymous attendee, so you could also send an email to products@Spatial Vision if it is that you want to remain anonymous, and then we can field that question to Trimble, right?
That's correct.
All right, cool. All right, seeing a question here from Jose. Tied to the previous question, has the fluctuation been addressed in the field as well? Oh, I said that he's the anonymous. So Ose would have asked us about the poor satellite cover using the DA1. He would have also spoken about the data transformation. So he's now asking, has the fluctuation been addressed in the field?
Okay, so we can also query that information and get back to you. And now that we have your email address, yes, we'll get back to you regarding your question.
So Philip, ask if you just take a note.
Yeah, I'm seeing where Tamai said we have been getting 2.3 meter accuracy when connected. I think it's GIS subscription we buy. Yes, so that's what I would want to know. Which subscription did you buy? Okay. Yeah, Leslie. Okay, so I will I can actually send you a manual for Trimble access.
But I guess we have her email. So let's get her to get
So we'll take note of your question and reply to you via email.
So I've not seen any more questions in the Q&A. Just confirming that all of the questions in the chat, there's a question in the chat or the Q&A.
Okay, yes. Okay, so thanks for that question again, Osai. Yeah, can the DA2 be used with a local VRS? Yes, it can.
And also note that if the VRS goes down, you have that, you can fall back on the RTX. Yeah. If you still need a subscription.
So yes, you would still need a subscription. And that's with the DA2 Catalyst with the surveying. And that's for the surveying grade, which would give you a 1 centimeter accuracy.
You need it sub 30 centimeters.
Yeah, another question. Do you need it for sub 30 centimeter? Yes, you do need it. Because all of these corrections is subscription based.
All right, so we'll do probably, if there's, I guess, no more questions, we'll take about 2 more minutes just in case there are any questions. But if we don't see any more coming, then we'll talk about Trimble Day in the Caribbean. So just checking, Philip. Okay, I have everything in the chat already, right? We're good to go? All right. So thanks, Everard. Thanks, Philip. I'm going to talk now a little bit. And if you do have any questions, I'm going to share the email addresses and our contact number as well. All right. So let me move to Trimble Day in the Caribbean. All right. So in terms of Trimble Day in the Caribbean, that event happens on Thursday, November 16th in Kingston, Jamaica. The objective is to, as we see here, to promote innovation and digital transformation in user organizations, potential institutions, and related organizations to the technology developed by Trimble, Inc. It will be, and we've discussed this already, it will be a part of the annual Geospatial Week, which happens in November 2023. So for our attendees that are in Jamaica, you may have been familiar with some of the work that the government of Jamaica does in terms of Geospatial Week. Trimble Day will fall as a part of those activities, which is agreed with the government already. Just to give you an idea of the event structure, we're looking to do a central plenary in the morning, a fireside chat in the early afternoon, as well as a few product demonstrations, and have a cocktail in the afternoon as well. So we'll have representatives from Trimble, actually. There are going to be quite a few of them here. So you can actually meet the Trimble team. They will be here on the ground. And again, we'll also be doing demos here. And we'll be talking about different Trimble equipment. So the DA2 will be a part of it. We're looking at some TSC5s and some other devices, maybe a total station. So to demonstrate a few of the Trimble equipment that may be applicable to your sectors. So just for an idea, as some of the business areas that would be involved, we're looking at geospatial. We're talking about Trimble advanced positioning. If you're in the forensics field, we'll talk about a few equipment there. Land administration, utilities. So whether water, electricity, gas, telecoms, we'll have that kind of information for you there as well. Construction and agriculture. So even if it's just to, not just to hear about the Trimble, it would also be a good place to network with like-minded people as well in the field. It's a good network activity. Where will Trimble Day be hosted? All right, so currently, we're looking at the Courtly Hotel that's in Jamaica. So that will be, as again, the 16th. So in Kingston, Jamaica, and the hotel that we're looking at is the Courtly, currently, as it stands. I know that the Trimble team are still working on those arrangements, but as I said, more information will be provided about it as we get more information. However, I do invite that if it is that you're interested in attending this activity, I know that spaces are limited, I would ask that you send an email to VP Geotechnologies at spatialvision.com. That would be myself, or you can send it to products at spatialvision.com. That's Everard. How do you get information, Elizabeth? So because we're in the, I would say that in terms of planning, we're probably about 70 to 80% complete. The intention is that for teams that are interested, we would actually send them a personalized invitation with all of the information that's available. And that will let you know, where the event is. I mean, you already have the date in terms of what will be available to you. So I know that there's like a menu provided. And as a part of that menu, and as a part of that invitation, I know they also want to find out if you have any allergies, information like that. So those will be provided via personal invitations. So the email addresses that you see on screen, if it is that you are interested in being a part or attending this event, I would say just write down these email addresses, VP Geotechnologies at spatialvision.com or products at spatialvision.com, so that we can send you or have a personal invite sent to you. I also have put our office line number here, 969-2239, 876 area code, that you can call our offices and let us know. But I would say that if it is that you're indeed interested, do send us register your interest quickly by sending an email to us, because I know that spaces again are limited. So we just want to make sure that we capture everyone that is interested. But just to answer your question again, it will be in Kingston, Jamaica. And all the Trimble representatives will be here to answer any questions in their specialized product categories. Now, I know that I think Philip would have done his randomizer as to who would win access to the event. So I know one lucky winner will get access for 2 at the event. Hold on, Philip is just handing me the name of who was caught up in that randomizer. All right. So I have here Mr. Brian Austin. That's what you have, Brian Austin. So Mr. Brian Austin is our winner for access for 2 to the Trimble Day event happening in Kingston, Jamaica. So we will work to send him that information post this webinar, just to confirm that. So congratulations, Brian, to be a part of that, to be a part of this event. Thank you for also joining the webinar, and that thank you also extends to everyone that's here. But again, I say, if it is that you're interested, do send us an email. And that's why I've kind of left these email addresses on the screen for some time, where you can send us an email to register your interest. Now, the last question that I have for you in closing the webinar is, how will it feel for you to press that power button on your very own DA2? Very lightweight, ready to carry in the field. So we're moving away from that base and rover ideology. Now you're walking in the field with your rover to collect your data. I hope that feeling is very good for you. And if you have any other questions that you want to field to us, again, let me just put back the email addresses on screen. Feel free to reach out to us at any of these email addresses here. We'll have your question answered. We know that there are some questions that we have to respond to as well. I know Philip would have taken notes as to those questions that we need to either go back to Trimble and get back to you, or answer ourselves, and some information that we need to send to each of you. So with that said, I want to thank everyone for attending this webinar. I do hope it was very informative for you about this new piece of technology that's here. Just a reminder, with the DA2, we have two types, so to speak. We have one that is survey grade and one that is built for GIS. So if it is that you're interested, do let us know which one is you're interested in, but we'll provide the requisite information upon contact. With that said, is this where we close? All right, so thank you again, everyone. I do hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of week. And given that it's the first week of October, I do hope you have a wonderful month and a wonderful quarter. From Spatial Innovision, that's it. Thanks again, and I hope to hear from you soon. All right, bye, everyone.